I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body. And that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to RXMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2020, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is our two-time world champion from the Rising Phoenix show, Margie Martin, who is coming back now to try to win Miss Olympia, the title that she never got a chance to take. Margie, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you very much for having me, Dave. I really appreciate that.
You got to be super excited. They brought back the Miss Olympia, and you are one of the competitors that probably would have won the title, or possibly could have won the title, had they not ever gotten rid of it several years ago. You got to be thrilled about that.
I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled. I'm so hungry. I'm tired and I'm exhausted, but all the excitement and the hunger to compete at that level and to compete well at that level is like, I'm firing on all engines. So I'm really excited. I'm really thankful for the Olympia bringing it back. Thank you to Jake Woods for putting in that work. Thank you for Dan Solomon, for the whole team for being able to move it to Florida. I really want to be able to say thank you so much for that. So, yes.
Amen to that. Now, in 2014, Iris Kyle won the 10th Miss Olympia of her career, and that was the last Olympia they held. 2015 was the Jake Woods started the Rising Phoenix World Championships for the women. You won that very first title. You also won the next year as well, probably winning more prize money than you would have at the Olympia, but you didn't get that Olympia title, and you didn't get to stand next to Iris Kyle, who was the reigning champ. I have to imagine that left like a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth. Even though you were the champ and you won some money, you didn't get the title,
Yeah, I think that when in 2014, that was my rookie year, so I did get to make it to the Olympia. I think I placed like second to last, but I was just so happy to be there. Right. You're not expecting to like kick ass and take names in your rookie year, and then they made that announcement, so that was soul crushing. That part right there, because when Iris was like she was going to announce her retirement, and you felt like there was like this air of like what's going on, and then they cancel the Miss Olympia, then you're like okay, and then so what's next? And then so it just kind of like you kind of want to think about what the future has to hold for women's bodybuilding. Do you go to women's physique or do you stay with it? And so I'm just so thankful that I just kept with it. I love bodybuilding. I'm a true bodybuilder. I'm just thankful for all the other women who said, you know what, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep competing in bodybuilding no matter what. And so thanks to them. Shout out to all those ladies in bodybuilding that kept it going while they made up their minds to bring the Olympia back to us.
Well, you like I said, I would have loved to have seen you, against Iris, that next year. We obviously, I actually, to be honest with you, I thought it would never happen because I know Iris. I knew Iris would never come back unless there was another Miss Olympia. Now you got your chance. Iris is coming back. You're going to be on that stage as well, with our defending champ, Helly Nielsen.
I'm excited. It's a little bittersweet because it's one of those things, there's been plenty of opportunity for other people to compete. There's plenty of other shows, Right. So it's like I wouldn't say that. I'm just more excited to be competing against some of the new leaguers that are really bringing some new size and muscle to the game. And so, I'm really excited to compete against Iris Kyle, of course. But I'm really more excited to be competing against some of the real up-and-coming legends.
I know you got to say that, but the point is that, you're competing against like Ronnie Coleman. You know what I mean? She's the most winningest athlete of all time. We know Iris is still, still looking amazing. It's not like she's like she's looking at like ragged or anything like that. So if you beat a 10-time Miss Olympia, I mean that certainly gives you a lot of kudos, a lot of credit, street cred, in terms of because there's always that no one beat Iris, but if you could end, your career with saying, I beat a 10-time Miss Olympia, it certainly, raises your status up quite a bit, right?
I don't believe so. Not at this juncture.
How can it not? How can it not?
I mean, I think it's just one of those things that Iris Kyle is a legend. You can't take anything from the wins that she has. However, if I competed in 2015, she competed in 2016, and we competed, and you got to battle, and you're like, yeah, when someone is actually in the realm of, training every day,
right,
every year, but then you have someone 5 years later come on stage and say, oh, you get to have an opportunity to compete against someone who hasn't competed in 5 years.
Right.
So it's like,
I got you. You think she's out of shot. Well,
I'm excited because it shows that I'll be able to do the same thing. If I want to compete, 5-10 years, keep my body tight like her, it's amazing. It's amazing work, but do I think that it's, going to be like one of those world-renowned type of battles?
Yeah.
No.
So you don't think Iris will be a factor in this Olympia?
I don't think that would be my goal, is to use someone who hasn't competed in 5 years as a factor.
So who are you gunning for? You're gunning for Helly since she won last year?
That would be the biggest. That would be the biggest goal with Helly. Is just, me and her. I've always looked up to Helly. She's been competing for a while, but she's always shown such a strength of bodybuilding, like not letting anything take her down, whatever placing, she's come back better, back improved. She showed, changes. So that back and forth between me and her is really what I kind of expect to see, when it comes to that. Some real type of love on stage, not just something where it's a level of entitlement.
Right.
It's a level of force.
Right. Well, you have 2 wins, she's got 2 wins, so this would kind of be for who's the best this time around. Now, obviously, there's other people in the lineup as well, and new blood in there as well. What do you think you have to do, to your physique from last year coming into this year? What changes do you need to make to beat her? What do you think that you left on the table, so to speak, last year that didn't allow you to beat her?
I think, I was a little bit too conservative when it came to feeding in and drying out. There was a certain look that I was going for, and I felt like I was accomplishing that look. It just may not have been a look that might have been crazy fierce and crazy conditioned type of hardness. Mm-hmm. This time I'm bringing in I'm not going to let you off any type of thing. You can only fool me once, right? I learned quick. So everything that I'm going to be on stage is everything that Miss Olympia needs to be on stage. So it's small waist, X-frame condition, hard ripped glutes, hard ripped hamstrings, big side sweep, ball shoulders, thick back, muscle density. I'm bringing it all. You're probably, I would say, one of the most dangerous competitors in the lineup, because when you are checking all those boxes, structurally, you're better than 99% of the people out there, so you're way more dangerous. Obviously, Helly's strengths is that she has a lot of size, and she brings ridiculous conditioning every time she steps on stage, so that's hard to beat. But when you have structure like you do, you're a more dangerous person when you get on stage at your best. But it seems like sometimes you don't always, your best is something that you define by yourself, and sometimes, it doesn't mesh, like you said, with what the judges tend to want. And exactly, right. And so I feel like there's some things that, when people see you, that you miss, and that you can always miss a moment. I train, I coach myself, everything else. So some things can end up getting mixed in the wayside, but this time it's just been a complete checking all boxes.
Gotcha.
I'm bringing everything that people want to see, and it's never going to be I know how people feel when you turn around and you're is it going to be hard? It's like a flip a coin of a thing like that. You're not going to worry about that for me. It ain't going to be a problem. If someone thinks that they're just going to win because they're going to out condition someone, it's not happening here.
I like the confidence, Margie. Now, you have an interesting story.
It's hard work. I'm working my ass off. It ain't no joke. This is why I do this. I live and breathe this. I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. So it's, this is my dream. I've been wanting to do this since I was a little girl. So I'm here to show people what Miss Olympia is truly supposed to look like.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's my perfect segue into my next question to you. And I didn't know this. I read it online somewhere, I think on your Wikipedia page. I didn't know that you ran into one of the, you're from Atlanta, and I didn't know that you ran into Lee Haney as a little girl in church. And
Yes.
Because you had wanted to be a bodybuilder. I didn't know that. And then you actually run into Mr. Olympia at church. Tell us that story.
So we went to, it was a church in Fayetteville, Fayette County, Georgia. We used to live down there, and my dad and my mom, they were really, really into sports. They were really into bodybuilding. My dad had all the Arnold Schwarzenegger books and everything else, but he loved Lee Haney, and they went to all his gyms that there. He had Animal Kingdom and everything else. And there was this one time he went to, I forgot the name of the church, but he allowed us to go follow him to his home that was, really close by. And then we were sitting out there and they were talking. And I was sitting there and I was like, you don't remember me, but because he was on the radio and they were asking like all these questions. And I was like on the radio right before school. And I was like, I'm 14 years old and I want to be a bodybuilder. And like, what do I need to do? And then he's like, well, I've never no one's ever asked me that before. And I was like, well, I talked to you on the radio. And he's like, that was you. And I was like, yeah, that was me. And he's like, that's awesome. And I was like, yeah. So it's just always something in my family, sports, bodybuilding. It's just always been a great thing for us.
What advice did Lee Haney give you back in those days at that young age?
I don't even remember. I just remember being in awe.
You don't remember what Lee Haney told you?
I think I was already doing it.
Oh.
So it was just like working out. I started, weight training when I was 14. So it was just like I was already doing everything else. It wasn't like I was asking him like, hey, how much you lift and how many carbs I need to take. It's not like that. But I just needed to know what to do.
The most important thing I always tell people is you have to, number one, have the passion for it, and you obviously have that, and you have to be willing to suffer and never quit. And that's something you've never done. You're just always there. And you know what? That's the key. You might not win every single show because no one wins every single show.
You should feel entitled to victories.
Right.
You should be able to learn. Mm-hmm. And if it's really something that you love to do, no matter how many times you get up or you fall or you miss the mark, basically bodybuilding is about tweaking things just so perfectly. And you have to compete more than once a year to know what your body is going to do. So that's just like one of those things that, with this day and age, with these, competitors where they just want to compete one time, it's just, I don't know, but it is what it is.
What's more difficult? Because I see you were in the Marines at 17 years of age. What's more difficult, the Marines or getting ready for a bodybuilding show?
Bodybuilding show by far. Being a Marine is easy. Marines love bodybuilding, so Marines can do bodybuilding and become a Marine. But bodybuilding, where you can't turn bodybuilding off.
Right.
You can't sit bodybuilding to the side and say I'll get back to it tomorrow. You can't just say okay, I'm gonna put it down and let me live the rest of my life. Right. You have to stay on it. It's temperament. It's routine. It's constant.
Right.
It's not something that you have to you play at. Well, not the ones who are really good at it, they don't play at it.
What would possess and what would make a 17-year-old girl want to go into the Marines? Like, where was your head at that point in time?
My dad was a Marine, my aunt Marine, mm-hmm. So it was just that type of mentality because of my personality. I'm an ENTJ and I'm an 8-wing 7 as well, which is a challenger, and it's just one of those type of, I need people to know that I'm strong. I need to people to see that I can be a Superman, I can be a leader, right. And I want to bring people along with me and, make this nation a great type of thing. That's just that type of personality I have.
Gotcha. So that was a challenge for you. Wanted to see if you can do it and pretty much.
Right. It was a challenge and it was great. And I learned a lot. And then, you learn a brotherhood. You learn to take things and with a grain of salt and move on,
What's the most difficult thing about getting into the Marines, like the boot camp and everything like that? What would you say was the hardest challenge you faced doing that?
I guess you just have to feel like if you can go to prison, being told what to do, when to do it, use the restroom, eat what you're told to do, and all those things. If you don't mind being told all those things, be a Marine.
That's what bodybuilding is all about too. So if you can be a good Marine, you can be a good bodybuilder. I guess it kind of has good crossover.
Yeah, if you can hone that discipline. The worst thing about bodybuilding and Marines want things quickly. They want to see instant gratification. They do this, they do that.
Right.
So it makes us bad for like 50-week preps, 36-week preps. We want that 10-week, we want that 8-week prep,
right.
and everything else. So
right.
that's the problem where I, come into. We want those instant results.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really excited about the show. I really am.
Are we going to see you at the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia?
No.
Now, why is that? Why would you want to get paid twice? It seems like a no-brainer almost.
Well, I do appreciate the Rising Phoenix because it gave me that it gave me the money to be able to move on my own, become independent, and I also think that it's a way for new and upcoming women to be able to make their stance. I don't think it's something that should always be, especially this close to Olympia. I feel that in no sense that the Rising Phoenix is low-hanging fruit when compared to the Olympia win.
Okay. So
Tom Brady wouldn't play in the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl, so why would anyone do that if they were really serious about taking the title?
Okay, so you want to focus exclusively on the Olympia. That's your gig. Okay.
Yeah, for me, I just think.
Yeah, some people would try to win the money, but I guess more important for you is the title. That's what you're saying. Right.
Money you can always make money, But if you miss that peak or right. Something else, you strain yourself or do something like that, chasing a dollar.
You never know. You could win the Rising Phoenix, and then, like you said, you can have like some kind of, you can get food poisoning or something like that out there with the traveling. You can get COVID. Who knows, right?
Right. And so the less issues that you have, the better. Okay. But I wish all the girls luck. I love the show. It had moved me in such a different way into my life winning that show.
Plus,
so I'm just so thankful for it.
It was the only game in town until this year, obviously, when Jake got the Olympia back. So that's, you guys, that was your world championship. That was your Olympia for the last 5 years.
Right. Trying to explain that was the hardest thing because you win it and they're like, "Oh, you're going to Olympia?"
Yeah, I know. That had to leave a sour taste in your mouth. That's why I know you want to win this Olympia, to really cement yourself as because that really, you are Miss Olympia 2 times as far as I'm concerned, but you don't have the title on paper, but you really are Miss Olympia. You're the best bodybuilder in the world for 2 years in a row.
I just want to be on that stage so people can see the hard work that I put in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's about having that moment.
Sure.
Sean Ray, Kai Green, Flex Wheeler, all those people had moments, beautiful posing moments, beautiful things that were unforgettable, and they never had the title.
Right.
So it's just like one of those things is that even if still being on that stage and having that reverence for that stage is where I want. And I want people to soak that look in and be able to suck it up. And I hope they love it because I'm going to love it. I'm loving it right now, and I have 3 more weeks to kill it. So I'm happy.
Good luck in the rest of your prep. Let's give us a little arm shot there for the camera.
You know, a little arm shot right there. That's a small one.
That's a Ronnie Coleman. You got a Ronnie Coleman arm.
They say that. I got the Ronnie Coleman back too.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Absolutely. Well, good luck, Margie. Stay safe, and hopefully you come back with that title that you've been looking for so long.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, this interview, Dave. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking the time to do it because you know what, sometimes people can't fit us in or they don't realize, but it's important to your fans obviously to know what you're going through mentally and where your head's at. And I think this was a nice little preview. What if people want to get in touch with you? What's the best way?
If people want to get in touch with me, contact me after the Olympia because I am not here for it.
I like that. That's a good answer. All right, there you go. Margie is super focused on this win, as you can see, and could have, like I said, I really respect the fact that you're focusing exclusively on the Olympia because you really want that title, and maybe when it's all said and done, we'll have you back on the show as Miss Olympia.
I'm praying and hoping, and I'm working for it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's going to take us to the end of another episode of RXMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2020, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.